Fujimoto, you crazy bastard, you have done it again. Just when we thought we were going to be getting a simple, maybe funny slice of life type chapter, as we see Denji and Asa go on this date at an aquarium, we get slapped in the face with some huge reveals at the very end of this chapter. I mean, it's a classic Fujimoto move. Just when we think things are kind of calm, normal, don't really have any expectations for anything insane to happen just yet, we just get a bomb dropped on us and things go from 0 to 100 almost immediately. Because taking a look at the beginning of this chapter, when we see Asa fixing her hair, deciding whether or not to wear a hairpin, and Yoru and her kind of going on a back and forth on her confidence in being able to win Denji over, things kind of seem like they're going to start normal. I mean, we leave off with Asa saying that she thinks she's pretty darn cute and Denji will definitely be head over heels for her, which I mean, I would have agreed with prior to seeing their date because, we know Denji, we know what his motivations are, and I definitely saw a scenario where Asa kind of turns the spice levels up a little bit and kind of seduces Denji, and of course Denji would fall right for it, but quite literally the opposite happens because we cut to them at the aquarium and Asa is just going on and on and on, giving all these facts about sea anemone, and obviously our boy Denji here that doesn't care much for learning is totally bored because he just wants to see the penguins. He's apparently never seen penguins before, but Asa shuts him down and just says, no, that's not part of the plan. We have to stay here for a little bit longer and then move on somewhere else. I have everything planned out for us already. So we're kind of seeing a side of Asa that we really haven't seen before, whether this is her not having been on a date before and not really knowing how to act, or kind of revealing her control freak side to her that we haven't seen quite yet. Regardless, we can tell that she is not very good at going on dates. And just when we finally think that we're going to get Denji getting to see his penguins, they move on to the starfish, where again, Asa goes on this long, drawn out explanation about the lives of starfish, the different types of starfish there are, which, in my opinion, to me personally, I think everything that was being said in this is actually kind of interesting. And I do think that, maybe some of the stuff that's being said here, some things that are lost in the sea of information here might come into play at some point, especially the part where Asa says that some starfish can remove their limbs so they can escape as the predator is feasting on it. I think something similar might come up in the coming chapters because, we'll get to the crazy stuff in the end because it's about to come up. But Denji brings up again that all he wants to do is just see the penguins, but Asa again shuts him down and says, no, we still have to check out the starfish for another 30 minutes. And of course, Denji's like, wait, what? 30 minutes? No friggin' way. And Asa says something which gets a very interesting response from Denji that I think gets lost in this chapter here because she says, we'll have fun as long as we stick to my plan. You don't need to think about a thing. And this is very reminiscent of towards the end of part 1 where Denji has all this loss and just feels such despair that he doesn't want to think for himself anymore. And he pretty much just gives himself up completely to Makima, where he kind of decides that he wants her to decide everything for him. Well, we see that Denji has learned from this experience because he says, I decided to think about stuff in my own way, meaning that he's decided to be his own person. He's decided that having someone make decisions for him isn't the best course of action for his life, which, I don't blame him because look what happened the last time that he let somebody decide for him, right? So then Denji decides that he's going to see the penguins with or without her, and he just storms off. So as he's gone, Yoru pops back up and asks if Asa should go run after him, which, Asa being the stubborn one says that why should she if he's the one in the wrong? To which Yoru comes back and says, could it be that you're a total bore? And this for some reason infuriates Asa as she gets very offended here and says that of course what she's talking about is interesting. Denji and Yoru just don't understand because they're idiots pretty much, and she spent all this time in the library looking up all these facts and different things about starfish and sea anemone to kind of prepare for this date. And as she's going on a rant here, this is when things get completely flipped on their head. The mysterious girl from the past few chapters that has the spirally eyes like Makima has, that had many people theorizing that this was another horseman devil, ends up just popping up right next to Asa without anybody noticing at all. And she pretty much agrees with everything Asa is saying, but also mentions that Asa still can't kill an innocent person. There's no way that she'd still go through with turning Denji into a weapon, and she knows that to be the truth herself. So Asa wonders how she even knows about her power in the first place, and this is when we get the major reveal when she says, I'm War Devil's big sister, Famine Devil, and then she tells her to call her Fammy. So right there, boom, we just get the confirmation, something that many people have been theorizing since her first appearance, that this this is another horseman devil, and this is actually the Famine Devil. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the whole four horsemen theory, which is, pretty much confirmed at this point, there's different variations of the four horsemen of the apocalypse in a religious sense, but there is an iteration of the four horsemen that lists it out as control, famine, war, and death. In actual order is actually control, war, famine, and then death, meaning that these horsemen devils have actually been popping up in order. And of course, them being kind of four horsemen of the apocalypse, they are all ultra powerful devils, leaving only death to be the final one to be revealed. Well, that's a topic for a different video, but getting back to this chapter, the Famine Devil somehow makes Yoru disappear, and she says to Asa that this is actually only temporary, but she says any human should be capable of abandoning their morality when they're starving. I'll create the right stage for you. You aren't leaving this aquarium until you can turn Denji into a weapon. See you soon. So this is kind of an interesting statement as well, because her saying that any human can abandon their morality when they're starving, I don't know if that means quite literally starving, like not having had any food, or being deprived of basic human wants and needs, like, sleep, including food, and also the ability to leave a place when you want to, not feeling trapped like some sort of caged animal like she's doing here. And this is when Denji actually walks back up and tells Asa that they have an emergency, because he points out that because no matter how far I walked down the hall, I couldn't get out. And he says something very interesting here to close out the chapter when he says that pain in the butt's back from hell, and it just shows a shot of just a long winding hallway. So at first read, I originally thought that, has he fought the Famine Devil before, kind of off panel in the time that we've been spending with Asa? Has he been battling the Famine Devil as well? And maybe he defeated her, she went to hell, and she came back as the Famine Devil again, and this is why he kind of knows what's going on here. But then I got to thinking a little bit more, and I realized, what other devils has Denji fought that is kind of similar to what he's experiencing right now? And then a little light bulb flickered in my head, and I realized, hey, this is much like the Eternity Devil arc back in part 1. So what I think might be going on here is that the Famine Devil has her own little, posse of devils, possibly including the Justice Devil, that kind of ally with her for the end goal of finally getting Denji's heart. And there's a possibility here that the Famine Devil has also allied with the Eternity Devil that has come back from hell after Denji had killed it and sent it back to hell. But regardless, Denji revealing this, saying that devil is back, is going to raise the question to Asa, like, what do you mean? Like, how do you know about this devil? Have you fought a devil before? And I feel like there is no possible way that Denji can hide the fact that he is the Chainsaw Man after this point, because one, they're trapped together, so they're gonna have to figure a way to get out, and of course Denji's gonna want to use his Chainsaw Man powers, and on top of that, like I said, he's gonna have to explain himself as to what he meant when he said that. So I think it's all but confirmed that Denji is gonna finally reveal that he actually is Chainsaw Man to Asa, and seeing as how Yoru isn't around to witness this as well, it's gonna be very interesting to see how Asa kind of takes this in, and maybe, once they get out of this, she keeps it as a secret to herself and doesn't tell Yoru that he is Chainsaw Man, maybe because they kind of grow an attachment to each other. Who knows? I don't know. This could really go anywhere. But what do you guys think about this chapter? What do you guys think about the reveal of the Famine Devil finally being confirmed to be this girl here? There's a ton of stuff to break down here, so I definitely want to hear your thoughts and ideas in the comment section below. But that does it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys have an absolutely amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one.